When I got home from my every other Tuesday Spanish club meeting, there was a girl sitting on our front stoop. She looked 9 or 10, with bangs that looked like they'd been scissors at home and jeans with iron-on patches on the knees. She had that distant look children sometimes get, like her thoughts were in a world far from ours. "Hey," I said, stepping closer. "Are you Charlie's friend?" She glanced up at me with a flicker of curiosity, then turned her gaze back down. In her hand, she held a stick, scratching faint white lines into the concrete step. I squinted to make out the letters she was tracing, ADE. Then she rubbed it away with her foot, leaving no trace but a faint smear of dust. "He's at soccer practice," I offered. "But you can come in and wait. I can get you a snack." The girl didn't respond. She just continued scoring shapes into the step, an animal with round ears, maybe a panda or a monkey. I stood there for another moment, unsure of what to do, before shrugging and going inside. Charlie got home half an hour later, his blonde hair darkened with sweat and his soccer bag slung lazily over one shoulder. "The girl outside," I said, as he headed toward the kitchen. "Do you know her? You should tell her to come in." Charlie frowned, looking annoyed. "Stop messing with me. There's no one out there." "Don't say messing like I'm playing games," I snapped. "She's out there right now. I'm serious." He rolled his eyes and opened the pantry. I sighed and stepped into the living room, pulling back the curtain to look outside. The girl was still there, her fair head bowed, the stick still working against the concrete. Either Charlie was messing with me, or he really couldn't see her. She was there the next day too. And the day after that. Her clothes changed, a powder blue jacket with matted fake fur in the winter, a tank top and cutoffs in the summer, but her expression never did. Once, I saw her reading a book, but when I tried to get close enough to see the title, she tucked it against her chest, hiding it. Nobody else seemed to notice her. Eventually, I started walking past her like she was an ornamental shrub or a piece of Halloween decor my mom had put out too early. One day before band practice, I asked my friend Kate if she believed in ghosts. "You mean like Casper, or like Bloody Mary?" she asked, narrowing her eyes. "I don't know. Maybe." "Why?" "I think there might be something in my house," I said. "Not the rattling plates and writing threats kind of ghost. Just a presence. You know?" Kate smirked. "Maybe someone died in your house. Or maybe a serial killer used to live there and bury bodies in your backyard. Or maybe it's the ghost of your GPA after that calc test." "You're hilarious," I said dryly. Later, after practice, I kneeled in front of the girl on the stoop. "Hey," I said softly. "I can help you if you need it. What's your name? Do you need help? Do you want us to do something for you?" She didn't answer. Instead, she started shredding a leaf, arranging the pieces in a careful mosaic on the step. A stick figure. A girl in a triangular skirt. Little flowers and clouds dot the space around her. I watched, unsure of what to say. Eventually, I went back inside. That night, curiosity got the better of me. I searched our address online and found the names of the previous owners, Stephen and Jeanette Finneran. I opened another tab and Googled their names. The search results made my stomach drop.
According to the articles, the dad had caught the mom trying to leave with the kids. He packed them all into the car, drove to a motel, and shot his wife and 2 of the kids before turning the gun on himself. There was one survivor, a minor, who'd been at a friend's house at the time. The children's names were listed: Alexander, age 12. Annalise, age 10. Augustine, age 4. I stared at the names, my hands trembling. Adelaide. Adele. Adelia. Was she one of them? I searched the name Adelia Finneran and found an obituary. She'd been in a car accident with her foster parents, just a year after her family was killed. The photo showed a girl with uneven bangs, a stuffed monkey pressed to her cheek. Her eyes were older than her years, haunted by something beyond her short life. The next day, I kneeled beside her again. "Your name is Adelia, right?" I asked softly. "You're waiting for your family, aren't you?" For the first time, she looked up at me and didn't look away. Her eyes bore into mine, full of something ancient and unreadable. They're not coming back," I said, my voice trembling. "I'm sorry. I think it might be better for you to go somewhere else. Somewhere beyond all this. Somewhere you can see them again." She blinked slowly. Birds chirped in the distance. A breeze stirred the leaves. "Can you show me where?" she asked. Her voice was deeper than I expected, low and raspy. It sent a shiver down my spine. "Okay," I said. My mind raced. Maybe I could take her to the cemetery where her family was buried. Help her understand. Help her move on. She reached up a hand, and I took it. Her hand was small and cold, sending a jolt of icy electricity up my arm. I helped her up, guiding her down the first step. Her grip tightened as we stepped off the second step, and suddenly, the world shifted. My head filled with static. Her hand was freezing, draining the warmth from mine. My thoughts felt sluggish, dissolving the harder I tried to hold on to them. There was something I was planning to do. Something important. But I couldn't remember. I sat down on the stoop, my backpack dangling from my arm. The door was locked, and I couldn't remember where the spare key was. I would wait. That's all I could do. Now I sit here every day, watching the world pass by. A man, a woman and a blonde boy come and go. His name is Charlie. He has a sister, doesn't he? Yes, a younger sister. She has fair hair like him and likes to cut her own bangs. In winter they go sledding. In summer, they kick a soccer ball around the yard. The seasons change, but it never feels hot or cold on the stoop. I don't know how long I've been sitting here. Children laugh in the distance. A woman sings a song I feel like I should remember. There are things I need to do, but I'm waiting for my family. They'll be home soon. One afternoon, as I sat there, a shadow fell over me. A man with dark, sunken eyes stopped at the bottom of the steps. His suit was rumpled, and his tie loosened as though he'd been wearing it for days. He studied me for a long moment, then said, "You're her, aren't you?" I blinked at him, trying to piece together his words. "Her. Adelia," he said, his voice cracking. "My sister used to sit here just like you, with that same faraway look." The man sat down next to me, the weight of his presence grounding me for the first time in what felt like years. "I used to live here," he explained. "Our family. This place was our home. Before everything fell apart." A flicker of memory surfaced, a name, a face, a boy's laughter. Alexander. This was Alexander. "They're waiting for you," he said gently, his eyes brimming with unshed tears. "But you can't keep waiting here. It's time to go." The static in my head lessened as his words reached me. "How?" I whispered. "Where?" Alexander reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, worn photograph of the Finneran family, their faces bright with smiles that hadn't known the weight of tragedy. He placed it on the step beside me. "Hold on to them," he said. "And let go." As his words settled in, the air around me seemed to shift. For the first time in years, I felt warmth, not from the sun, but from within. Slowly, I stood, the photograph clutched tightly in my hand. I turned to Alexander, tears streaming down my face. "Thank you," I said. He nodded, his expression, a mixture of sorrow and relief. "Go find them, Adelia. They're waiting." And as I stepped off the stoop, the world dissolved into light.